Hi guys, a new purchase today. You've got it right. A mirror for my DS5 Citroen. Well, not exactly for my Citroen because mine's not damaged, not cracked or anything. If you remember an episode, I think it might have been already a year ago, I bought a camera like this. And I didn't want to have this dangling cable to the power supply. And instead I thought I'll do an installation in my car, have a power supply coming out next to a mirror. But then again, you have these, what do you call them? Airbags, or actually the ones with the window or air curtains or something like that. So it's an explosive device. It's quite dangerous to try to push the cables anywhere in here. But I noticed this is a photochromatic mirror, has a sensor here, obviously needs a power supply. Well, it's not that obvious when you look at the mirror because, as you can see, all this is enclosed. But when you split this apart, you can see all the cables inside. So there's obviously power going to the mirror. But there are 3 cables here. So 2 power supply and 1, probably some feedback back to the car computer. So also the dashboard light is adjusted and so on. So to determine which ones are the power supply, we'll split this mirror apart and we'll see. So why did I buy this mirror? I bought it to get these plugs here because I thought it would be easier to have the plugs one to the other, and I'll plug it in between the original plugs, and the power from this will go to the camera. And why did I buy the plugs? Well, I have an offer from Mauser. It was the only company that offered these in single pieces. Most wanted to sell like 100 minimum order quantity, 1000, and so on. So here we've got some plugs. The plugs come with individual pins, which you need to buy separately. Also, you need to buy a bag of those. So this came out to something like 30 zloty. 30 zloty, so that's like $8. So wouldn't be much, especially compared to the price of a mirror. But then again, you have to pay 80 zloty for shipping and handling, customs clearance, because this comes from the US. So really expensive. Well, as I bought a mirror for 40 zloty with shipping included. So that's half of the price of the shipping itself for the plugs. So we'll recycle these. The funny thing is how a mirror attaches to the windshield. You have this glued to the window. And since this comes from a car after a crash, I presume, you see the glass being all broken, and this snaps in place. But it snaps in place so hard, so I'm wondering if after you remove a mirror, how you snap it back in place. I tried reattaching this, and it doesn't want to snap in. I use a screwdriver to pry it up. So now I'm wondering, was the glass broken because the car was in an accident, or was somebody trying to pry it up and press it against the glass, and that's why it cracked? Well, doesn't matter. What's most important, we have a mirror. So without much ado, let's split it apart and see the electronics. Normally, I wouldn't do it like this, not to damage the plastic, but since I bought this only for plugs, it really doesn't matter if we damage the enclosure. But to tell you the truth, it's impossible to pry this open. So maybe I'll try to pry this a bit up, then use another bit to push it in, and then we'll get in deeper, and hopefully it'll get this open. So this was a good strategy. Successful. We've got a plug-in socket here. You also need to pry it open to get it disattached. I'm surprised by the complexity of these electronics. And to tell you the truth, could probably even sell it for a similar price I bought the whole mirror, because some sellers wanted even around 200, 250 zloty. I managed to get this one for 40. So who knows, maybe I'll put it up on auction. But looking at the circuit, it's still impossible to say which one's the power supply, which one's the feedback. So we need to use a meter and actually check what's on the plug. So now we'll just dislodge this cable to remove the plug on the back. So these cables are just these press fit, so we'll just rip them out. So we'll just connect these back to back, the corresponding cables. We'll pull out the power supply to the camera, but that in another episode. So that's it for today. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and see you again soon.